There are a lot of people who are living lives that they believe that they should be living based on what they were told that they should be doing, or they just kind of allowed life to guide them in a particular direction and they didn't question it. But then they reach a certain point and they're like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I so unhappy? Why is it that nothing I'm doing seems to be working out? And it's usually because they lack clarity on what their purpose is. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling to be in that place where you're like completely questioning everything that you have set up in your life, and you're not sure how to break out of that and what you really should be doing, right? So I want to talk about that today. I am Teresa. I'm your visionary confidant and life coach. And today on the Full Permission Challenge, we are going to be talking about purpose, and specifically your permission to live in purpose. You'll hear people say sometimes, well, this is just the way that it is, and these are the cards that I've been dealt. And then they continue in that way, knowing that it's uncomfortable and knowing that this is not what I want. This is not the life that I want for myself. This is not the way that I want my life to set up. And also knowing that there is something so deep on the inside of them that is calling them in another direction, but they don't know how to get out of where they currently are. And I want to encourage you to look back, even in terms of the job that you're doing, even in terms of the relationships that you have. Look back on what felt authentic to you years ago, before life got crazy, before life got heavy, before you had all those responsibilities. What felt authentic to you? Not in the time when you were clueless and you had no idea about life, not in the time when maybe you were a teenager, but there is something that is at the core of who you are. There are aspects of your personality that no matter how much you grow and evolve, and no matter what happens to you in life, there are aspects of who you are that will not change. And those are connected to your purpose. There's a reason why God put you here on this earth. It may not be a particular job, right? It may not be a particular vocation. It may not be that you're supposed to live in a particular country. It may not even be all of that. What I believe is that there is a being that applies to our purpose. It's not necessarily a doing that applies to our purpose. And a lot of the time when people think about purpose, what they think about is, what am I supposed to be doing? But I want to ask you, when you think about purpose, to think about, who am I supposed to be? Not what am I supposed to be doing, but who am I supposed to be on this earth? And when you start to become the person that you were meant to be, what ends up happening is that you start to live in purpose, because your purpose is as a result of who you are, not what you do. And that's why you feel uncomfortable in the place where you are, because you're not in alignment with that purpose, if that makes sense. These are my keys, right? This is my key fob. These are my keys. So let's say I want to chop some vegetables, and I try to use these keys to chop the vegetables. I'm not going to do a very good job, because that's not the purpose of these keys. You see? So when you are not in alignment with your purpose, what ends up happening is that you're using the abilities, you're using your makeup, you're using the things that make you who you are for the wrong reason, right? If I need to open my front door, I get my keys. If I need to chop vegetables, I get a knife. And some of us, what we're doing is, we're trying to use a knife to open the door, and we're trying to use keys to chop our vegetables. I know this might sound ridiculous, but it's gonna land. If you know, you know. You know, if you get it, you get it. Some of us are quite happy to just go with the status quo and just do what it do and just ride this out. But some of us need something deeper. Some of us know that we are called to do something more. Some of us know that we know that we know. Alarms are going off, and that's how it feels. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a car alarm going off. That's how it feels inside your spirit when you are not aligned with your purpose. It's like an alarm is going off and you can't take it off, right? So I want to encourage you to look at your life, and do you see yourself being, not doing, but do you see yourself being the way that you are for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years? Do you see yourself being the person that you are right now for the rest of your life? And if your answer is no, what do you see yourself when you look at your ideal self? I'm saying, right? Not when you look into your imagination and you project into what is possible. When you look at your ideal self, who do you see yourself as? And I encourage you to start showing up as that person. Start showing up and start embodying those attitudes and the mindset and the habits that that person will have. What is that person passionate about? What is most meaningful to that person? How does that person organize their day? How does that person structure their day so that at the end of the day, they look back and they say, yes, I accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish today because I showed up in a way that is authentic to who I am called to be. And this is a question that I cannot answer for you, right? This is a question. This is why one of the things that I talk about is insight. Insight is extremely important. Insight meaning looking within yourself, having that quiet time with yourself, having that quiet time with God in prayer and in journaling and in reflection. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you discover because it's already in you. It's already in you. So you don't have to run around looking outside of yourself for what your purpose is. It's right here. But the thing is, we are so consumed with looking for validation, trying to impress people, trying to show up the way people expect us to show up, that it's hard to see what that purpose is because we're looking outside of ourselves. We're looking in the wrong place, right? Our search is misaligned just as much as our doing is misaligned when we know that we are not walking in purpose. All right, so take that time today. I want to encourage you, get a journal, set some time. It could be 5 minutes. If you do it over the course of a few days, and eventually things are going to start coming together. And then as you start working on how you're going to walk out your purpose, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer as you go along. But you have to start with that question. What does my ideal self look like? Ask yourself, what do they want? What do they value? What do they need? And then once you start to answer those questions, it's going to become so much clearer to you how you need to show up in the world. We are so result oriented, we are so achievement oriented and goal oriented, and those things are important. But accomplishing those goals, it's not going to happen unless we show up as the person that we need to be in order to accomplish them. All right, so I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey, and I will see you in the next one.